Wayne Sleep, how are you?
Hello, very good, thank you.
And Melanie Stace, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Alec.
It's really nice to see you. It's nice to see you more than it is Wayne, really, because you're more attractive.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. I'm looking at him now. Look how beautiful he is.
Because I'm tiny. They tower above me, but it's all right because people like it. It's quite funny, actually. So we use that as laughter and make it work. And we do a number from Billy Elliot, the three of us.
Yes, we do.
Which is a new number in the show for us.
Wayne is playing the role of Billy Elliot, really, and which is very moving, actually. It's very moving. Your story is a lot like Billy's story, Wayne.
Everybody thinks their story is Billy Elliot, so I let them all have it. But I actually lived in County Durham, so that's where he lived as well, and he won a scholarship when he was 12 to the Royal Ballet School, and so did I. So there we are.
What is it about musical theatre and musical numbers that seem to lift people's spirits and get everybody going? I mean, Michael Ball's kind of the king of that, really, isn't he? He just sings all these big, massive songs, and everybody seems to love it.
It's escapism, isn't it? We all want a bit of variety and escapism in our lives, and I think I'm very lucky. We're working with a very talented orchestra, very talented boy and girl dancer singers. Coming into the theatre and working with these people and creating stuff together and putting your own take on things together, and that's what gets me through it and gives me joy to do it.
A lot of ad libs, in between the numbers, just for a laugh. I mean, if something comes in your head, you just say it, which is great. So there's a great freedom about it. You're not totally scripted. What people love about musicals is that you've got a story usually, and you've got wonderful music, and you've got dancing. So you've got singing, dancing and acting all under one roof, and I think that is like the culmination of theatre. If you can do all those three, you've made it, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that I'm sorry, but I have to say it, there's nothing on television anymore, Alex. So people have to come to the theatre and see us. Yeah. And it's an incredible thing. 1 minute you're playing with me, Mary Poppins, and doing my Julie Andrews, and the next minute I'm Roxy Hart in Chicago or whatever we're doing. And it's fantastic. It's a fantastic opportunity.
Goes from pop to sort of Rodgers and Hammerstein.
Yeah. And we all three do it, and it's great to jump in and out of those worlds, and that's the beauty of it. And of course to have fun, as Wayne said, and we do. At the end of the day, you've got to love it. We're in a different city every night.
It's the travelling that's hard. The travelling's the worst. If the train's going to be on time, or if you're stuck in traffic on the road, or you can't stretch your legs, all that sort of stuff comes on. And then hotels, you just never know where you're going next. Even if they say it's a 5-star. Believe you me.
You never get bored, though. Never get bored. It's not like doing 6 weeks somewhere.
There's always something to moan about.
There's always something.
Or something to praise.
Or celebrate. Yeah, and we do. And from that point of view, it's certainly one of the happiest companies I think I've ever been in. So that's great.
What do you think about the difference in performance in the West End compared to Broadway? I think it's got better recently, but when I first started going, there was really no comparison. The Broadway people were so much better.
It's an interesting one. I certainly have made a study of it myself, because I've been doing a lot of work in America too recently. And everyone, the next question, everyone's like, so are you going to go? Are you going to go? And it's like, I would love to go. The Americans work with a different attack. It's a different attack. And that's the only thing. I don't know if it's better or worse or what. It's a different attack, and I love it.
It's to do with size and money as well. And also the adrenaline. There's so many more auditioning. There's so many more people in America. Let's face it, we're tiny compared. But on the other hand, when they were going to do Billy Elliot and Cats, they found it very, very hard to find individual talent. They were all the same. They were all a chorus line, and they were all perfectly in time together. But you try and draw something individual out of them, they don't learn that. So what we don't maybe have as well as they do, we have in other ways more individuality.
I suppose, Wayne, in a way, you are to dance what Michael Ball is to musical theatre. I mean, you've made yourself a personality and a character, and that is rare. And it goes back to what you were just saying. I mean, in the West End, there's Maz Murray in We Will Rock You that is amazing. John Owen Jones in Phantom, and people like that stick out a million miles, and you always did. That presumably isn't something you can be trained. That's just what's given to you by God.
Yes, it's true. But you've got to be allowed to develop it. And I know that when shows come over here and the Americans bring them over and the American producers are here, I'm not going to be evil because I might be wanting to do one of their shows one day. But what they want you to do is be a carbon copy of the original cast. So all you have to do is listen to the music and become an impersonator.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
No.
I want to bring myself to the role.
Yeah.
I think they will let you do that if there's some spark in you. But I remember when they put on Chicago, Anne Reinking wanted it exactly, the director, as they did it on Broadway.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if you were individual in any way, a certain person who I won't name, who was a star of it, went through a terrible time, because she didn't want to copy. She wanted to be.
I suppose when you're coming up through the ranks, though, they don't want you to pull focus and steal the stage if you're not the star.
Funny you should.
They better not. They better not. But I mean, I was in Cats, and I remember Trevor Nunn saying to me, "You're pulling focus." I said, "Well, you sent me out into the audience to sit there, and if people are coming up to me and start stroking me because I'm Wayne Sleep, it's not my fault. I'll sit there and freeze if you like, But I'm not pulling focus. Let me go back to the dressing room for a 5-minute rest."
If you're going to be Wayne, he's going to pull focus, isn't he? Let's face it.
No, they're going to say, "Oh, that's so and so's there," and you can't just sort of disappear for 5 minutes.
No.
But you can be very still on stage. I mean, I know certain artists. I mean, if you twitch behind them when they're doing their solo, you'd be out of the building. And I think that becomes paranoid. I think it goes too far. People have got to be able to. But if it's staged properly, there's no point. And anybody who's starting to pull focus is going to be misbehaving in other ways anyway. So they're not going to be welcome to join a company of artists.
That's a very professional thing as well. To behave on stage as you want, as you're trained, and everyone behaves the same. We're great. And Wayne's book's called Precious Little Sleep, and he's not precious. He's precious in one way, but he's not precious in that way. And I think we've all worked lots of people in this business who probably are. And when I'm on stage with Wayne, I know he's not going to do anything like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell us about your TV stuff, and then recently you've been in America, haven't you?
Yeah, I was in the Australian tap musical Hot Shoe Shuffle, and I played the lead in that. And the BBC were looking for someone for the Generation Game, and somebody said to me, "Oh, the BBC are in this afternoon, some rainy matinee in Bournemouth." And I thought, and they came and they invited me to audition, and I went and auditioned, and I got the job. And I did it for 6 years. I was on Saturday night TV for 6 years, and it was fantastic. And I got to do, I had been leading Lady in the West End before this, but I got through that. I got to do Raw Variety, all those shows that you do. And I had an absolutely wonderful ride. It was incredibly hard work, and it was great. But I missed doing my musical theatre because you can't really do both. So I really missed that. And then, of course, when I quit the Gen Game and I came back into what I would say now, I can clearly say I love doing, people said, "Oh, we didn't know you could sing. We thought you were a game show hostess." So I had to prove myself all over again.
And with me with the ballet. They still say, "Oh, he's the ballet dancer. What are you doing in a musical?"
Exactly.
I've been doing musicals since 1972.
Exactly. And I when I quit Gen Game, the first person we went out on tour was with Wayne. In 2001, we did a show called Ready, Steady, Dance, and that was my first one back in, and that was with Wayne. And we had a great time. Tour, big success. And then I've been doing all these shows. I recently did Crazy for You and all over the place. And then I got the call, and I wanted to work in America, so I've been working in America, and I love it.
If you don't mind me saying, you've got that leading lady look. You're obviously gorgeous, but you're very tall, and you've got that big gob, which I just love. I love a woman who can sing and belt them out.
I'm tall, but that's not perfect, let me tell you. I mean, let's not go into height. No. But I can never find a leading man tall enough, and that is a bit of a problem. But having said that, I kind of get away with it, I think. And Wayne and I have always said, if you're the fastest runner, you should win the race. So we don't make a problem out of our height. No. It can be used in a comedic way.
In the performance, exactly. and when we're on together, and people accept it. We've not heard anything against our heights, but we send it up.
We do send it up sometimes, and then another time we sing pretty much Love Duet.
Yeah.
In this as well.
Yes, exactly.
Dance, and people really like that moment too. So hey,
it does still amaze me when I go to see shows and see the most unbelievably talented stars who then a year later are not in the show and are out of work. I mean, it isn't an easy business, is it? And I suppose even at your level, you still have to fight to be remembered.
Oh yeah. Well, I think you could easily get forgotten. There are so many people coming up, and it depends on your agent whether they bothered to promote you or whether they believe in you in the first place. It's having the right relationship with them. It's having having the right relationship with yourself and knowing what you want to do. Sometimes you can think, God, what do I want to do next? And people say, what do you want to do? And you say, I don't really know. But I'm very focused. I know what I want to do now. I want to go on acting, singing, and doing the dancing, the tap and the jazz, but not classical ballet. Even so, I went back with the Royal Ballet 2 years ago, and we went to Japan and New York with the Royal Ballet, and I played Ugly Sisters and Cinderella. So you never know what's around that corner. And instead of being fearful of it, just embrace it.
Absolutely.
And embrace it as a surprise every day, because it is.
I remember seeing you in that frock. Tremendous. Congratulations.
Thank you.
In a frock.
Melanie Stace, congratulations. It's really nice talking to you. If you ever want a husband, I'm the man for the job.
Oh, thank you very much. I'll bear that in mind. Leave your telephone number for me.
Standards are ever dropping. And Wayne Sleep, thank you very much for talking to us. Congratulations on everything. Everybody loves you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We love them.